Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go over number 8, and I'm going to be recording over here. Okay, so I need to know what is the center. What did you get for the center? This is 0, 0. Okay, so it's 0, 0. This is problem number 8. Now, what about the vertices?
6 plus minus 6, 0.
Plus minus 6, comma 0, and that is because, why?
Because x is first.
X is the first one, right? And that is 36. So since x is the first one, then it's going to be plus minus 6. So you're going to move to the 6, to the right 6 and to the left 6. There you go. Great. And now I need to draw the B. Okay, and B is what?
0 plus minus 2. 0 plus minus 2.
0 plus minus 2. That is right. So from the 0, you go up 2 units and then down 2 units. And then you have to draw, you get the ruler, and then you draw the box. Okay, so get your box. Okay, so my vertices were at positive, negative 6, so that's one vertex, and the other one, it's on the left side. Okay, the center. So you draw also the asymptotes. If you look at the formula chart says the asymptote is y equals, so look at the formula chart. Is it A over B or B over A? It's B over A, right? So the B was 2, so my asymptote, I'm going to put it on the side. Asymptotes. It's y equals plus minus B, which is 2, over, yes.
Can you please send Raul Ibarra to the front office?
Excuse me, who's that? Who do you call? Was it Ricardo Ibarra?
Raul.
Oh, Raul Salinas? I was getting the asymptotes. When you reduce the asymptotes, it's 1/3 x, right? You get that? When you reduce it? Great. Okay, so now the foci. The foci, you need to find the C, and the equation for the foci is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So C is the square root of the sum of those two numbers, which is 36, that's a squared, and 4. So it's the square root of 40. Now, this is where you need to be careful here. You need to simplify it, right? Square root of 40 is the same thing as 4 square root of 4 times the square root of 10. And that is plus minus 2 square root of 10. So I don't want to take up points. Make sure that if you can simplify the radical, simplify it, okay? So then the foci is plus minus 2 square root of 10. So plus minus 2 square root of 10, comma, 0. And that number, if you put it on the graph, square root of 40 is between square root of 36 and 49, so between 6 and 7, right? So if 7, it's over here, and negative 7 is on the left, the foci would be in between those two. This would be one of the foci, and the other one is over here. And it's ready. All you gotta do is just graph the. Have a good weekend, Ricardo. Thank you. You can put it on the fire. Thank you. You're welcome. Enjoy the weekend. Okay. And I was approaching the asymptotes, please. Okay? Questions about that number? 8, no? Okay, so you can do number 7 and number 9 at your own. Let's go ahead and go to number 6. Problem number 6. In problem number 6, we're going to do 6a. And you have a little e on the left side, which means that it's an ellipse. Okay, so number 6a. The equation is y squared minus x squared plus 25 equals to 0. So we need to let it equal to the constant number. So we move the 25 to the right, and that would be y squared minus x squared equals negative 25. Then we divide every single term by negative 25. And that will make it a 1. And now this is kind of like the homework, problem number 3. Here you're going to have negative y squared over 25. The negative divided by negative is positive x squared over 25. That equals 1. But then you cannot leave it like that. The negative has to be in the middle. That's right. So by the community property, we switch those two. And the final answer should be x squared over 25 minus y squared over 25 equals 1. And this is the final answer. Okay? That was 6A.
Students in your rooms. Only the 200 hall students with a yellow wristband may go to the gym.
Okay. So at the end, once you move the 4y and the 2 to the right, and then you get half of the middle term, and then this right here. Oh my God, I'm having fun. So that negative 6 squared, that gives you 36. You add them to both sides, right? And then you factor it out. So this is a factor. And what I was telling you is that it doesn't matter that 34 is not a factor of a multiple of the 4. You still factor the 4, and then on the inside you can put 34 over 4 because, see, the 4s are going to cancel out and you can get the 34. So then here, when you get to this point, just reduce 17 over 2, and that's the answer. And just keep in mind that, this is the standard form, this one here. Okay. Any questions, guys? No? Okay, let's move on to the next problem. 6C. Number 6C. Oh my God. 6C, it's 10x squared. Okay. So,
It's too late to buy.
right? You should buy the ticket, Raul. You think so?
Yeah.
Through
I
whom?
think you just give her the $2 and they let you go in.
At the entrance?
Yes.
I don't have change.
But they're saying only people with the wristband can leave.
Maybe.
Yeah, so it might be, that is not possible. Okay. Okay, so we move the 50 to the right, then you divide by the 50, then you simplify that. And when you simplify, that's going to be x squared over 5. And then y squared over 10. And that's equal to 1. And what type of graph would this be? It's an ellipse because you have the plus in the middle. Yes, and it's equal to 1. Yes. Okay, now let's move on to problem number 6. In problem number 6, the center, it's 2 comma negative 3. The focus, one of the focus is 7 negative 3. And the vertex, one of the vertices is 5 negative 3. Okay. And if you look at the answer choices, it has a negative in the middle, right? Which is going to be a hyperbola.
Okay, teachers, at this time, we're allowing students in the 100 hall with a yellow wristband to go to the talent show. At this time, only the hallway 100 can go to the wristband, with a wristband to the gym.
Okay, so at this point, so the first thing I need to do here is to plot the point. 2 negative 3, that's the center. The vertex is at 5 negative 3. And the foci, it's at 7 negative 3. And it's always a good idea to plot the points and see what's going on. See, with this plotting, I can see that A, the distance from the center to the vertex, it's 3 units. And I can also see that from the center to the foci, this was the vertex and this is a foci. One of the focus. From the center to the focus, it's 5 units, right? So C is equal to 5. So now I can determine that my A square is 9 and C square is 25. So therefore, I can find my B square. So the B square, I just use the Pythagorean relationship, so it's going to be C square equals A square plus B square. So to find the B square is the same thing as subtracting the C square minus the A square. So I have the C and the A. C square was 25. A square is 9. So B square is 16. And now with the plotting of the points, I can see that the parabola or the hyperbola, because this is a hyperbola, it's opening to the right because the focus is inside that hyperbola, that part of the hyperbola. So therefore, the x, right, goes with the A square, and the y is going to go with the B square. So when I put the equation together, I have to keep in mind that the center is H and K. So now I'm ready to write the equation. So x minus the H, which is 2, quantity square, over the A square, which is 9, minus y minus 3, which is the K, that is plus 3, and that is over.
Okay, teachers, just a reminder, no backpacks,
16.
no purses. At this time, we are moving hallway 300. Hallway 300. No backpacks, no purses.
And that's the answer for number 6. Okay, questions about that? Number 5. It says, find an equation in standard form for the hyperbola that satisfies the conditions. And we have that the vertices are located at 0 plus minus 4. So that is my A. Put in 14. That is just 4. So A square would be 16. Then the foci. The foci, it's at 0 plus minus 6 square root of 5. Oh, 16. Okay. So then, if you try to do this problem, none of the answers are going to be the correct answers. Yes, ma'am.
Can you please send Enrique Campos to the Sonata for the things?
What do you think? Ándale, Enrique. Pues check it more.
Enrique Campos, please send Sonata for the things.
Yes, no problem, ma'am.
Thank you.
He's on his way. Okay.
This will be on your later.
Yes, I'll upload it later on. Yes, so on the C square, C it's 16 square root of 5. Have a great weekend. Have a good time with your mom. Forgot to tell the other ones too. Have a good time. Okay, so when you square the 16 square root of 5, that would be 16 square, and then the square root of 5 quantity square. And the 16 square, it's a big number. I believe it's 256. Okay, so it's 256 times, see the square root and the square cancel out, and then that would be times 5, so it would be 1,000 what? 1,280. So that is the C square. And when you want to find B, so with the Pythagorean relationship, we have C square equals A square plus B square. C square is 1280. A square is 16. When you subtract 16,
Okay, teachers, we're doing 400 hall, no backpacks, no purses, and only the ones with the yellow wristband.
and now I need to know how this hyperbola is opening. My vertex tells me that is 0 plus minus 4, and the foci is 16 square root of 5. That is somewhere up here, 16 square root of 5, because 16 square root of 5 was a big number, right? Is 256 times 5, right? So it's a huge number somewhere over here and somewhere in the bottom. So therefore, the hyperbola should be opening up and down. So that means that the first letter on the equation has to be the what? The y. So it's going to be y minus, what would be the center? Is 0, 0. So I don't need the parentheses, right? I don't need the parentheses. All I have to do is just put y squared. So it's y squared over the a squared, which is 16, and then minus x squared over the b squared, which is 1,264, and that is equals to 1. So none of those answer choices were right. Okay. And then from there, so number 4 is basically the same idea as number 5. Okay, so number 5 was the one that it was a little complicated because the answer choice was right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to problem number 3. In problem number 3,
Okay, teachers, last hallway, 500 hallway, no backpacks, no purses, only students with a yellow wristband. No backpacks, no purses, and only students with a yellow wristband.
okay, so this hyperbola is opening horizontally, which means that we have to start with the x. Okay, the center 0, 0. Now, what is the a? How much is from the center to the vertex? 3 units, so a equals to 3, so a squared is 3 squared, which is 9. So the equation that you're looking for has to have an x squared and then it's over 9. So it's not a, it's not b because it's y squared, it's not c. How come it's not c? Because it has a plus in the middle. So that's an ellipse, so it's not a hyperbola. So therefore, the answer is D. Okay? And now problem number 2. In number 2, we have to find the center. Let me just copy the problem. Okay, so the center is the opposite of the x and the y, right? So the center is the opposite of the -2 and then the opposite of the -y. So my center, it's 2, 4, right? And it's opening left and right. So if you look at the formula chart, it's opening left and right. So the y stays the same, the y level. So y for the vertices, so the y has to be 4. The x is the one that you need to add how much to the h? If 8, 9, no? 8 units, okay. So a would be plus minus 9, right? Okay, so then 2 plus 9, that would be 11, and 2 minus 9, -7. And then for the foci, again, the y coordinate is going to stay the same, which is to find the c. So to find the c, this is just c squared equals, I can just put the square root of those two. Okay, so it's 81 plus 144, and that is 225, and the square root of that would be plus minus 15. So we need to add 15 to the x, which is going to be 17, and we need to subtract 15 from the 2. So it's 2 minus 15, and that would be -13, right? Because it's 2 minus 15, so it's -13. And therefore, if you look at the answer choices, what's the answer? Is that D? It is, right? Okay, so it's letter D. And last but not least, problem number 1. So in number 1, the center would be 0, 0. A is 3. And it starts with the X. So that means that it's going to be opening horizontally. So if it opens horizontally, you're going to move to the right and to the left, right? So 3 to the right, 3 to the left, those are going to be the vertices. So the coordinates of those vertices would be plus minus 3, comma 0, right? And then the foci, I need to use a formula. So C squared equals 9 plus 72, which is 81, and then you get the square root of 81. So it's plus minus 9. So when you plot those foci points, which is going to be 9 to the right and then 9 to the left, so the coordinates of the foci would be plus minus 9, comma, and then 0. And that is, which is the answer choice? Letter C, right? So it's letter C. And that's it. So the other ones that I didn't go over, just complete them, please, and then we'll have the quiz over this stuff on Monday.